Hi, welcome back to the Social Media Super Success Plan. It's time for Module 11, which is our last pre-recorded module. I'm sure you can't quite believe it. I certainly can't. It has gone so fast. And the next module obviously will be a live one, and I'll talk a bit more about that at the end of today's module. So today's module is all about your social media actions. Now, if there was one thing I wanted to make really important about this course, it was implementation and doing stuff. So I know that to achieve social media super success, you have to commit time to doing that. It doesn't happen by you ducking in and out and spending 5 minutes one week and 0 minutes the next and maybe 15 minutes the next week. You have to commit time and action to getting stuff done, which is why, even though at the end of every single module I've given you actions to do, I wanted to create a whole module which was all about actions and being focused towards completing actions. So that's what this module is all about, and hopefully it will spur you to really commit month by month, not just when this course is finished, but month by month, to making sure that you are driving your business to social media super success. So what do you need to do is the big question of the day. What do you need to do for your business to get you towards where you need to be on social media? So what this module is focused all on is creating an action plan for yourself, which is separate to your strategy, really. Your strategy is, this is how we do social media. This is typically how it happens. And for all you can update your strategy as you go, and you might adjust it. If you think back to that kind of first module that talked about strategy, we were looking at things like, what are the overall themes of your content and what kind of advertising do you think you'll do overall? It's kind of like a bit of an overall. The action plan is then, okay, what actions are actually going to take place? What are the actions that will support this strategy? So I think the best way to do this is at the start of every month or at the end of the month before, look to the month ahead and see what you need to do on social media in that month. What needs to happen in the month ahead to be driving your business towards social media super success? So questions you'll ask yourself: what worked well the previous month? So obviously that's where the measurement is really important. This should form really part of the measurement process. So you've done your measurements and then you go, okay, well that worked really well, that worked less so. So what worked well the previous month that you can expand on in the coming month? And what do you have coming up in the month as well? So what things are you looking to promote? What events do you have, competitions, and so on? What do you have coming up in the current month that you need to have an action plan in place for? And of course, what could you do better in the month ahead? What could be improved? What did you not commit enough time to in the month previously? What is lacking? What's flagging? What's kind of holding back your social media? So if you end each month looking through this or start the next month looking through this, you're going to have a kind of a plan in place to keep driving your business towards social media super success. But the most important thing then is that you don't just kind of have this, okay, these are the things that need to happen, but you actually know when you're going to do it. So an action plan should not just be a list of actions. It should be a list of actions with when are you actually going to do those actions. So a time frame, a date, maybe even a specific time. They might be a 10-minute action. So you might say, you know what, I'm going to do that on March the 27th at 3 p.m, whatever it is. When are you going to do it? Because if we don't commit a time to do it, we get to the end of the month and we go, oh, I didn't do that again. Right, I'll put that in my action plan for next month, and so on. And we never get to where we could be because we haven't committed the time to do it. So when are you going to do it is really important to figure out as well. So your action list then might include several things, and I've kind of given you some ideas here, but you might go even beyond these ideas. You might have other ideas and other things you need to be focusing on. So first of all, content. What kind of content do you need to be focusing on in the month ahead? And as I said before, that might include things like offers you've got, competitions you're running, and so on. But you need to start thinking as well about images you need to create, videos you need to film, maybe scheduling some live broadcasts in so you can let your audience know ahead of those taking place. Whatever it is that you need to happen in the month ahead, it's far better to, for example, if you think, God, it'd be great to get a video out on April the 13th, And then the day of April the 13th comes around and you're like, oh, we haven't made a video. Oh. So you have to schedule these things in and figure out when you're going to fit them in. And it may be for some of you that you need to think further ahead than a month for some of these things. It may take longer to create a video, or you might need longer to pull the right people into the right places or anything like that. So you need an action list for what content you need, content things you need to create. Also, what scheduling you need to do. Sometimes it's easier to just schedule a load of content for the month ahead, particularly kind of content that's pretty repeat and ongoing, like lead captures, for example. You might want to schedule those out for the whole month and then know, right, every week on Twitter, we've got kind of 2 lead captures going out for the month. And you don't have to think about it again until the following month. So what can you schedule ahead for that month that will actually gain you a lot of time back? Because you're not thinking about it in the moment. It's already scheduled. It's already in the system ready to go out. So each day or each week, you can just look at where your gaps are and what to fill them in with that's relevant at that time. So yeah, what content actions do you need to take? What advertising do you need to do in the coming month? What does advertising look like? Where are you going to advertise? Which platforms are you going to advertise on? What kind of things are you going to advertise? Do you have something like a competition going out that you think you should be running an advert for? Do you have, a product launch? Do you want to boost your email list? And so on. So what advertising will you do in the coming month? That should be in your action list. Then we're going to go specifically onto different platforms. Obviously, we've already talked about content as a whole, but you may want to then split that content into different platforms if you create content that is differing for each platform. So first of all, on Facebook, you might want to be thinking about, any groups you're running, or if you want to start a group, or what's happening within your groups. Are you going to schedule any lives within those groups, for example? Have you got any events coming up that you want to create a Facebook events page? If you've already got the events page, again, you can go live on that. You could create regular content on there to excite people about that event. Also, you can create Facebook stories. So, as a business now, you can create stories on Facebook that last for 24 hours. So are you going to do any of that on Facebook? What will that look like? What will that include? Do you have anything coming up that you could kind of capture the day of for stories? With Instagram, how are you going to action committing time to increasing following? And again, stories on Instagram, the same idea, 24-hour content, so have you got any events coming up? Have you got any launches coming up that you could lead to with stories? Could you go behind the scenes? That kind of thing. On Twitter, how are you going to commit time again to increasing following? And are you going to create any lists during that time? For example, again, I know I've said the word event about 1 million times already, but for example, if you're going to an event and there's a hashtag, you might have in your action plan to create a list for that hashtag. So you have a list of all the people at that event. On LinkedIn, it might be committing time to searching for connections, to sending messages to people about a specific thing that's going on. It might be company page specific, so it might be something like growing your company page following or doing something a bit different on your company page. So that's just a kind of a bit of an example really of some actions you might want to take, or kind of the kind of broad topics around your actions. Obviously you'll need to put specific actions beneath them. And obviously there's all the other platforms as well. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea for the main ones of the kind of things you'd be thinking about to include within your action list. So the big issue I always find with most businesses when it comes to social media is time. I know what I need to do, but I haven't got the time to do it. So I know, you're probably in one of 2 camps on this course, or maybe 3. The kind of the best camp to be in is where you are the full-time social media manager. There is nothing else within your role except social media, in which case you have, your full-time hours to just dedicate to social media. And I'm sure we'd all love to be in that position. The second camp is where social media has been tagged onto your role. So maybe you work in marketing or PR or something like that. And kind of you've been kind of thrown with social media as well. And you're expected to fit that into an already busy day. And then the final camp is the business owner who doesn't necessarily have a team or much of a team, who does it themselves, who's got to fit it in along with all the other marketing, along with all the other admin stuff, along with everything else that's going on within their business. So In all three camps, you've got to still find time to get stuff done, because if you don't, you will not achieve social media super success. It doesn't happen by doing nothing and having zero time to do anything. So I think, I just thought I would share with you some pointers on finding time to get stuff done. So first of all, where are you wasting your time? I speak to so many people who say, oh, I'd love to do more with social media, but I just haven't got time. I'm absolutely chocker. We all are. That's the thing. We will all find things to do with our time. There are very few people in business or working in businesses who are sat there twiddling their thumbs thinking, how the heck am I going to fill all this time? We all have no time to do anything, let's face it, because we fill our time up. So the key thing to ask yourself is, where are you wasting your time? Where are you committing time that actually is not going to give you any success or any benefit or help you in your role or help you grow your business or anything really? Where are you wasting that time that you could be committing to social media? For me, for example, one of the things I did sort of early on in my business days was stop checking my emails so much. I found that when I was working, just sat at my desk all day, I could be checking my emails like every 15 minutes. Or I'd have that annoying little notification pop up in the corner. And no matter what you were doing, your eyes drawn to it, you're sucked away, you're sucked into your emails, and you lose track of the task you are on. So ask yourself where you're wasting your time. If you're not really sure, it's really good practice to just do a couple of days where every 15 minutes you jot down what you're doing, and then just see where you're wasting time. It'll soon become evident to you within that, oh, actually, yeah, oh, look, every 15 minutes I am checking emails, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Also, if you are a small business owner, think of what you can outsource. There's so much you don't need to be doing. Think of, this is the way I looked at it early in my business days, is what's my hourly rate? And if I'm doing my own admin, like, technically, how much am I paying for an admin person? Because that's what I'm paying myself. So where are you wasting your time that you could pull it back into social media instead? Ask yourself, actually, if I spent this time on growing my social media activity, would I see far more success than spending it on, I don't know, what's a really boring task? Inputting receipts. Oh, I hate doing that kind of thing. So yeah, where are you wasting your time currently? Next thing is to set appointments with yourself. So in your action plan, when you say, okay, this needs to be done on this date, go to that date in your diary straight away and set an appointment to do it with yourself, 2 till 3 o'clock. And then if someone says to you, oh, would you be able to meet at 2 o'clock on that day? You can say, no, I'm sorry, I've already got an appointment. Be really strict with your time. You can always, if someone wants you to meet you at 2, you can say, I can't do 2, but I could do 3. Yeah, okay, that'd be great. You've then got that in your diary. It pops up, it reminds you, it goes, right, it's time to do your Twitter following or whatever it is you've set in there. So set those appointments with yourself and you're far more likely to get stuff done. What I tend to do on my kind of office days is write down everything I need to do, and then I'll put times in that I'm going to do them, and I will not do anything except that thing in that time. And if I finish it earlier than I expected to, then I tend to just reward myself by having like 10 minutes to mess about on social media, or 10 minutes to go and make a cup of tea or something. I don't quickly move on to the next task. I actually, just reward myself for getting it done quicker than I expected. So set appointments with yourself and set a timer as well. This really helps. I mean, it kind of reminds me of if someone rings me up and says, oh, are you in? I thought I'd just pop round for a brew. And you're like, yeah, okay. And they're like, right, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And then you look around your house and you think, oh my God, I cannot let them come into this absolute beep hole. So you frantically race around in those 20 minutes making your house tidy. And then you think, when you're done, you think, wow, this looks really good. And it took me 20 minutes. Like usually it takes me hours to achieve this level of cleanliness and tidiness, because you've kind of been restricted with your time. So I just find if I've got a timer set that I'm kind of like, right, the timer's set, I'm on task, I'm not looking at anything else, I'm getting it done before that timer goes off. I work to 25 minutes. I've got this thing called a productivity planner, and essentially you write out a list of what you've got to do with your day and you prioritize it. So what's the main thing you need to get done? What's the one thing that has to happen? And then kind of what's your secondary most important things, your third most important things. And then it works on something called Pomodoros, which I think has something to do with tomatoes. I can't remember the whole story behind it, but a Pomodoro is 25 minutes. So I will set a timer for 25 minutes and I will work for those 25 minutes. And then as soon as the timer goes off, I stop the task. And if I've not completed it yet, I will just have 5 minutes where I don't know, go refill my water or have a snack or whatever. And then I will then get back to it, set the timer again for 25 minutes, get back on the task until it's done. You can kind of work by guessing how many Pomodoros it's going to take you. And so you might say, right, this will take me 3 Pomodoros, which is 3 25-minute groups. But the key is you're not working kind of consistently for that. You're having those 5-minute breaks in between. And they say anything that you think is going to take more than 5 Pomodoros needs to be split up into smaller groups. So if, for example, you go, right, okay, I need to plan my content for the year, and then you give it like 10 Pomodoros, chances are you need to separate it into plan videos, plan images, whatever, break it up. So set yourself a timer. 25 minutes is a nice short period of time for you to just focus all your attention on one thing. I use the timer on my phone, but then I turn my phone on silent, turn it upside down, because the timer still works on silent, so it still kind of, buzzes when it's finished. Turn it upside down so I can't see any notifications, or even better, I kind of put it under a book or something, or just hide it out of my view, basically. And then I just get on with that task for 25 minutes without ever looking at any distractions or anything. I definitely no longer have those email ping notifications on my computer. So that works really well. Setting yourself a timer to get stuff done, you'll be amazed how much more stuff you can get done when you do that. And I think definitely with social media, scheduling ahead really, truly does help. So figure out what your scheduling routine is. So for me, I will often do mine daily because I want kind of things to be quite relevant to there and then. However, there are things I will then schedule weekly, like blog posts that I've written, for example. I'll schedule posts to go out about that for the week ahead. And then there are things that I will schedule for the month ahead, usually like lead captures. I will schedule those to go out for the month ahead because then I know that I've got stuff there going out, and I just find it so much easier to be in the space of creating it all in one go than every day kind of thinking, oh, I'll put this on social media right now. So scheduling ahead really does help you to save time. So, as part of your strategy, rather than your action plan, but as part of your strategy, just work out how you're going to schedule and what you're going to schedule, what kind of topics and themes you can schedule. So really focusing on that because, we have to get stuff done to achieve social media super success or any form of super success. We have to do stuff. Success doesn't just happen to people. They work bloody hard for it. So we have to find that time to do that. Otherwise, it's not going to happen for us either. Also, I think it's really worthwhile having what I'm calling a champion team. Now, I know again that this won't be applicable to all of you listening. It will be to some of you. So a champion team is a team within the organisation that you can bounce social media ideas around. So this is where you kind of pull people from different departments and you go, okay, these are some things I'm thinking of. But also they can come to you and go, well, these things happened, or our customers have been talking about this, or this product's really popular at the moment. So you've got this team that tells you what's going on within the business that just makes your job so much easier because you're not there racking your brains for thinking of content. They're kind of giving you ideas, you're giving them ideas, and you're bouncing them all around amongst you rather than you just being stuck there on your own. They're not necessarily people who have to then do it. You might be the doing, but they give you the ideas. So you could meet your champion team maybe, once every couple of weeks or even once a month would really help with this. Also, they will definitely help you look for new opportunities within social media. They will help highlight kind of areas that haven't been focused on within the business as well. And it will help you spread the load because, if you've got more people there bouncing ideas around, you'll find that some will go, okay, well, I could take some pictures of this. And another might go, well, I'm happy to create a video about that. So It might not be the case, but you could find that champion team will slowly start to help you spread the load of what you need to do as well. Now, if, like me, you work on your own, you could have a champion team of other small business people that you could maybe jump on an online session with every couple of weeks and go, I'm thinking about this. Do you think this would work? And they might, again, come up with some great ideas for you as well. So that works really well if you can get a kind of a group together. Also, you are now luckily part of a group already. You have the Facebook page. So come into that Facebook page and ask questions, ask for ideas, share your ideas and see what we think and ask for improvements of it. Don't lose those opportunities to bounce ideas around amongst people who are in pretty much the same situation as you. So 2 options there: pull yourself together, a group of people or group of other small business owners that you can work with on bouncing ideas between you, or just jump in the Facebook group that you're already now a member of, our Social Media Super Success Plan Facebook group, and ask in there any ideas, anything you're struggling with, ask in there, and we can be your champion team. So in terms of this course then, of course, I've given you actions at the end of every module. Now, I know that for some of you, you'll have gone, yeah, I'll do that, and then not. So I think, I really wanted this course to be driven towards action and taking action. So that's why I created it as it is. So definitely, do your very, very, very best to put into place the actions that we talk about at the end of each module. And then ask yourself now we're kind of nearing the end of the course, what further actions do you need to take? What actions at the end of each module did you think at the time, yep, I need to commit time to do that, but you haven't? What things are you thinking, actually, my LinkedIn profile is massively out of date, I need to update that. All those little things that you've kind of picked up along the way, write yourself an action plan for this course, the things that need to happen. List everything that you kind of want to do on the back of this course, and then prioritize those. So go, okay, actually, this is probably the most important thing that I focus on right now. So then you can start working through them in priority order. And then schedule them in again. Stick them in your diary. Tell yourself when you're going to do them, how long you're going to give yourself to do them, and then you will get them done. So even though this module has been completely focused on actions, you still have actions to do with this module too. And that is, first of all, to create an action plan for this course, things you now want to do on the back of this course and prioritize them. And then create yourself an action plan template for the start of every month. So things you're going to think about including essentially at the start of every month, almost like a checklist is probably a better way of putting it. At the start of every month, what kind of things do you want to have in your action plan for the month ahead? Now, there is going to be a little surprise coming in the post to you, a teaser, and some of you have probably already received this before you watch this module anyway, but I'm going to send you a notebook because I think it's worth having a social media notebook just for you that you keep dedicated to jotting down any ideas you have. You can write your action plans in there, your to-do lists. You can also, anytime you read a blog post of interest or something new comes up in social media, you can just jot it down in that notebook and it will become your social media kind of Bible, I guess, for your business and for you and what you need to do and that kind of thing. And you can have that with you all the time. I've purposely got you a kind of small enough to fit in a briefcase or a handbag, not tiny, not pocket size, but small enough that you could definitely carry it round with you with your laptop and have it as your social media hub, your social media place, your thing that you write everything down with to do with social media. Or if you want, use it for something completely different and buy yourself your own notebook that is of your own choosing. That's fine. But I wanted to really prompt you to have that kind of space. And that's why I decided that I would treat you all to a nice fancy new notebook. So if you haven't yet had that in the post, expect that any day soon. If you have, then that's why you've received it, in case I didn't explain it enough in the gift tag to go with it. So that's your actions. And yeah, I just want to say for the final time, although it won't be because I'll talk about it in the live Q&A as well, just how important it is to complete actions. So, just no success happens by doing nothing. So please, please, please be action focused. So our next module then, module 12, is the live Q&A. I'm very excited to actually get to speak to you all. You will very shortly be receiving an email that tells you what date and time your live Q&A will be on. I'll also stick the details of that in the Facebook group as well. And it will be run through a system called Zoom, I think. So you will get a link that kind of you just click to take you through to that live session. And in that, I want you to ask every single question you have remaining about social media, anything about applying it within your business, anything at all really. And I will do my best to answer. And if I can't answer there and then, I will make a note and make sure that I come back to you with an answer within a few days. If when I send the date through you can't make it, which is bound to happen, I'm sure it's going to be impossible to find a date and time that everyone can do. So if you can't make it, then please do either put your questions into the Facebook group or send them to me via email and I will answer them in the live session. I'm also just going to be covering off a few extra hints and tips in that live Q&A as well. So it should be a good session and one worth definitely joining me for. So keep an eye on your inbox for the date and time of that. And that will then complete this course, which, you might not be sad about, but to me, I feel a bit sad about it. So, I will see you next for the live Q&A. Now go and get on with your actions. I'm going to bring out my stern teacher face now. See you soon. Bye.